Hi, this is Stuart Storley for Sailing World Magazine. Welcome back to our interview series from Key West Race Week, Quantum Key West Race Week. Standing here in Kelly's Caribbean Bar and Grill, the regatta headquarters, and behind me, the action is just starting for the evening's festivities. Standing next to me is Dawn Riley, the executive director of Oak Cliff Sailing Foundation. Is that right? Sailing Center?
We just go with Oak Cliff Sailing now. We're a center, we're a foundation, we're a training and coaching center, we're everything.
So people that don't know Dawn, of course, the word that comes to mind, I think, is diversity. You have had one of the most diverse careers in sailing. You're laughing, but it's not a bad thing. The America's Cup, the Volvo Ocean Race, I think a brief cup of coffee with an Olympic campaign,
Yep.
and now, of course, you're running this Olympic Center. This Oak Cliff Sailing Center, which was recently announced as the first sailing center for U.S. sailing, for the U.S. Sperry Topsider sailing team. Tell us a little bit more about the center, or about Oak Cliff Sailing, and what you have going on there right now.
So the new announcement that we're a training center for U.S. sailing and their Olympic campaign is new and exciting, but it's on top of everything else we are doing. So right now we're a training and coaching center that's open to everybody who already knows how to sail. We have training in inshore, in offshore, in match racing, in fleet racing. We also have a program with Oak Cliff. We have Acorns and Saplings, which are 15 to 18-year-olds and 18 to 30-year-olds. And those individuals come for the summer and they learn every position on board the boat, every position in the boat shed, and they get front office management training. So they could conceivably leave Oak Cliff and step into an America's Cup campaign with the basic skills in all areas.
I think you mentioned the America's Cup, and of course that's the dream of many sailors. But one of the areas where we're seeing a lot of your Oak Cliff graduates, use that word, is just out there on big boats. A lot of these skills, running big boats, whether it's winch maintenance or engine maintenance or simple skills like docking a big boat, hard to find. It's one of that kind of the chicken and the egg question. No one hires you unless you get the skills, but you can't get the skills until you get hired.
Yeah, so you come to Oak Cliff, you learn how not to crash a boat, hopefully. But if you do crash it, you also have all of the mechanics there and the teachers to be able to show you how to fix it. So you break it, you fix it. But you're right. What we're doing is we're training people to get jobs in the marine industry and hopefully to become leaders in a few years in the marine industry. And our graduates from last year, 100% employment. I am so proud of them, and I never would have imagined that would have happened.
And this is the sort of stuff, of course, if you look at the European or the New Zealand model, and one of the reasons they have such a great progression of kids moving into the marine industry is they have that internship culture. They do that sort of stuff. The kids, they go to sail lofts, they work for marine in the marine industry, and then when the programs come a knocking, they have the skills that make them so valuable.
Absolutely. And we already mentioned I've raced around the world a couple times and done America's Cups in Europe and in New Zealand and San Francisco and San Diego. And I basically took the little bits and pieces, the best of the best, and we put them all together in Oyster Bay, which is just outside of New York. And we have people from Europe coming and training, and from New Zealand coming and camping out at Oak Cliff. And it's just a great atmosphere of learning and excitement and youth and achievement, because it's not easy. Everybody needs to work hard.
And when we mention boats, I'm sure people think, sure, free sailing center, what are we going to be sailing on, 50-year-old shields? No, not. You have some pretty high-tech boats.
I can't even go through the whole list, but basically we have fleets, 6 Shields, 6 Melges 24s, 10 Swedish Match 40s, 2 FAR 40s, a Kerr 11.3, 11.5, a 50. We're building a brand new 11.5 in our backyard. And then we also have 2 FAR 40s. We have a FAR 47 that just got donated, and I'm currently in Key West looking for donations of boats, sails, and money.
All good things, and of course, one of the biggest news is this new Olympic program you're going to have set up there. I could tell us about it because you're obviously closer to it.
Well, Hunt Lawrence, who's the main benefactor of Oak Cliff, we are a public foundation, so we absolutely need to raise funds from others, but he also is passionate and his family's passionate, and they noticed, like many did, that we didn't have any Olympic medals other than Jen French. We had one, and thought that we could do better. So he called me up and said, "Hey, Don, it's Hunt. I think we need to do something." And we went through and did our own analysis combined with the U.S. sailing analysis and decided that 3 of the classes where we could make a difference were the 49er, 49er FX, and the NACROS.
And 2 of those classes, of course, are brand new classes, the 49er FX, which is the new women's skiff, and then the NACRA 17, which is the co-ed catamaran, which are very exciting classes. But tell us, if people are interested in learning these classes, you're going to have 8 of each of these boats. How do they get involved?
We're going to have 8 of each boat, and there's 3 easy ways to be able to sail these boats. 1, you're already on the U.S. sailing team. 2, you're identified as a potential development sail member by U.S. Sailing. So we have such a great amount of coaches, and the coaching staff at U.S. Sailing's taken another step up. So they're going to be identifying these promising people. or you're an Eggcorn or a sapling. So those are the three ways to get in there, and we see that as a strong development point for them to be able to get the skills, but also benefit from being able to fix their own boat, to tune their own boat, to do two-boat testing, so that we're not just finding somebody who's an athlete who can sail this boat really fast right this moment. We're teaching them how to be diversified, to be able to understand how to deal with a lobster pot on your keel, to a bad day of racing, to dealing with the press. So we're building complete sailors.
This Oak Cliff Center, Oak Cliff Sailing. It's very impressive what it is, and we forget how young it is. I mean, we're just what 3-4 years into this process.
Just 3 years.
So when you guys start looking at your timeline, 5-10 years down the line, what are the goals for Oak Cliff Sailing?
You know what's so exciting about Oak Cliff is the goals keep changing. We specifically did not want to do anything in the Olympics because we thought that the path was there. We wanted to do something that did not compete and that was totally missing, especially in America. So our goals right now are to make sure, this is my secret goal, that in the next couple of years, nobody new is hired into the marine industry without the question being, did you go to Oak Cliff? And also, of course, to medal.
Some great goals. And what about the foundation, the center itself? You mentioned that Hunt Lawrence provides a lot of the operating capital. Is it feasible to make this thing a self-sustaining, self-perpetuating sailing center?
It is feasible to make Oak Cliff self-sustaining and perpetual, but it is absolutely a challenge. We need to raise between 1/3 and 1/2 of all funds. Our budget, as a nonprofit foundation, is about $1.4 million. So that's a lot of money, but it's not unreasonable when you look at the match racing events, the coaching sessions, the donations, the Eggcorn tuition, the donations of boats, and then just plain old charitable. I hope that people get so excited about this, they're opening their checkbooks and writing checks right now.
And I'm sure people that are going to get excited about it, of course, is that 15-year-old kid who is passionate about big boat sailing. Maybe he doesn't see himself doing the college route for whatever reason. Maybe he's too heavy. Maybe he likes the technical side. For that kid, whether it's a guy or a girl, what is the process for them if they want to become involved with Oak Cliff?
You basically just go to oakcliffsailing.org and you look at everything on the website is there. The Eggcorn program, you can apply. The Sapling program, you can apply. There is tuition for both. There are some scholarships available for both, especially for the older who are starting to get out on their own in between college. And then you basically just show up. You know, we're pretty open and pretty casual. There's not a whole lot of foo-foo. We just go sailing.
So just come knock on the door.
Come knock on the door. Give me a call. Oak Cliff Sailing.
All right. Well, Dawn, thank you very much. Now, last question before we let you go. What about yourself? What sort of you're now? This is your project. This is your baby, but you're still a big sailor. Was that where your fun lies, going sailing with these things? Or are you doing anything else?
I'm really enjoying the coaching. I love seeing the improvement from 15-year-olds to 55-year-olds who've been doing the same thing incorrectly for 40 years and seeing the change. So I'm really loving the coaching. Myself personally, I'd like it when I get out on the race course. And is there still another America's Cup for Volvo? Sure, why not? You know, I'm not that old.
No, and of course, the people gaining experience through this center, you're also gaining experience that maybe applies down the road, because when it comes down to it, it's all about managing people, and it's all about managing resources and allocating resources and doing all the sort of things you're doing right now.
Absolutely. I mean, anybody who's been involved with an America's Cup or a Volvo or a TP52 or a FAR 40 campaign is running a small business. It's just different scales.
All right, Don. Well, it's great to hear this. With best of luck getting the U.S. up to speed in some of those new classes. We're looking forward to some medals to give us something to cover in 2016. And great to hear all the stuff going on at Oak Cliff. What a tremendous opportunity for many people.
Thanks. Come visit.
Thanks, Don.